Shooter begins with their rifle loaded with only 10 rounds in the magazine, and all other mags can be loaded to full capacity. Shooter may not reload until their rifle runs dry. Rifle will be loaded on safe, standing at low ready, and the pistol will remain unloaded for this stage. At buzzer, you go prone in this start box and engage each steel target with 2 hits each. No double taps, meaning 1, 2, 1, 2. Shooter will then run over to this window prop and engage each target with 2 hits each, no double taps. They will place their rifle on this table safely, jump through the window. They will then acquire their rifle again, move to this barricade over here, and from here, from the yellow hole, they will get 2 hits on each target with no double taps. She will then move to the final position, which is this barricade, and from under the barricade, 2 hits on each target with no double taps. Anything less than 16 hits will be scored as a miss. Failure to jump through the window is a 30-second penalty, and it's a 90-second part time. Hit! 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 Hit!
It's been a while.
Time 80.24. Yeah, so I had one round into the window, and then so I shot it, but I had it. Unlike you gotta come around, so I dropped the mag. I'm back in. Killed me with that thing. Dust. My muffin break. Yeah, partially was that. A little bit of a breeze because.
Speed reload!
New job and have family in the area.
You on the right?
My sister's out there with her.
Hit! Is that it? God damn it.
Time.
All right, so our third and final rifle stage for the day. With our rifles, we're preparing for Red October. Did you learn any lessons?
Well, I shot the stage as intended versus burning rounds out prior to getting to that last position.
Okay, so let's explain to the viewers. This was a downloaded 10-round mag to start with, and you
Right.
could not reload until the gun ran dry.
Correct.
Someone with a gamer mindset, I'm not even saying that as a negative, could have intentionally fired more rounds than necessary at some of the targets and had a proactive reload rather than a reload when it occurred.
Correct.
Okay, so you didn't do that. You shot it as intended.
Right, so I fired my 10th round and had to do a reload from that weird behind cover position.
You're behind the yellow position on the barricade. Yep.
And that was significantly harder to do that for me with an AK than it would have been with an AR.
I think that's one of the things the AR brings to the table, which is really interesting, is how really efficient and easy reloads are. I mean, the AK Rock and Lock, it's generally very effective in terms of when it's in, you know it's in.
Right.
But there's ways to mitigate that with an AR. But the thing is it's slower in general.
Right. And granted, I don't use AKs all the time.
Yeah.
But making everything work from that position just felt harder.
Why didn't you just, do the thing you see on the internet where you take out the mag and then knock it out with your mag and then roll it in and then run the bolt?
That's cool if you're like standing stationary straight up, but doing that from that weird like sideways position behind an obstacle, probably not.
You mean some of these cool things we see on the internet aren't actually effective under the clock or in field conditions?
Probably not.
I can't understand that.
And I was actually practicing that at home before this match.
Were you really?
I'm like,
No!
yeah, I'm gonna have a totally sweet reload on InRange, and it's like, nope, not gonna happen.
That's the cool thing. I'm sure someone in the comments is going to be like, I did that at combat. But the reality is that for the majority of situations, that cool knockoff reload thing you see with the AK is not reality. It just isn't. Okay, so here's what I've learned. This rifle actually was 100% reliable today. I had no malfunctions with this. In spite of the fact that it incorporated some of the worst parts and elements of some German designs into one gun, which I'm going to talk more about with Red October than I am this match, this gun was reliable today. The Czechs developed this in '52, and they were really going with a very old school mindset of a 10-round magazine capacity. Really, it's like a mini G43 in a way, in terms of handling, and it does have stripper clip as well, but they were really behind the curve already, because at this point, when you're talking about in '52, the AK's already been developed. Now, not widely adopted, but the AK is a thing. 30-round magazines are a thing. The only thing they really did that was modern is they went to an intermediate cartridge of 7.62 by 39. But what they didn't do, and this is where people really start to not think about certain things that matter more than others. The rifle is interesting and important, and the sighting system matters a lot. You know what matters more than that? Your freaking accessories and your load-bearing kit. I'm using original, traditional Czechoslovakian VZ52 pouches, which hold a 10-round mag. Very much a direct copy of the German, where you pull this leather flap, the magazine's exposed, the G43 pouches are identical from World War II, and then you got to kind of get in here, and it's hard. I understand why, because they want to protect the magazine to get that mag out. That cost me potentially all 4 targets at the final position of that last stage, because you have a pouch on the left, a pouch on the right. I've added a third one for safety's sake. But really, they had 2, and 1 in the gun, 2 on the belt. And when I was rolled over on the prone on that, I had to kind of roll over, open the pouch, and then I was fishing for this. Finally got it out, got it in, just as about ready to chamber around, parred out. I think, and I have to look at the clock, I spent at least 5, if not 8 seconds fishing for this damn mag out of my pouch. This pouch, that old school World War II pouch, literally gets you killed in the streets. So what I've learned today is while the gun's reliable, guess what I'm going to do for Red October? Paracord, duct tape. Because when this is in here, I'm still going to use the pouches because they're historically correct. And someone could have historically done this in the war, right? In a war. When I open this, guess what's going to be there? A little piece of paracord. I'm going to make my own mag pull loop. I'm going to go boink and yank this out and save myself probably 5 to 8 seconds per reload. So that was my big lesson for today, was twofold. 1, rifle's reliable. Sights are slow. The magazine I fixed is reliable. Good to know, but I'm going to make little loops on here so I can get these mags out of these get you killed in the street pouches, because this kind of thing really was very much dangerous to someone, and never mind a clock, but if this was used in combat, that's a bad deal.
Right.
And so that kind of stuff you learn about load-bearing kit is really interesting, and the only time you find that out is by putting it on the clock at something like this. You can put it on, and if you're at a range and you're just shooting and you slowly fish this out of here, the time pressure doesn't really exist, and you don't realize you're parring out on a stage because your mag pouch literally cost you a stage par time. Have you experienced stuff like that?
Not often.
Okay. Well, you're using modern stuff more.
Right.
Yeah.
Short par times tend to expose flaws like that, and this isn't the only match that has stuff like that, but I like it. I think it pushes people to get better. Other notes for me on this stage was I did have one malfunction of the AK from the yellow port position.
You did, I saw that.
The bolt came back, but it didn't feed the next round. I got about 300 rounds of the gun so far, so it's kind of an anomaly. Maybe it's that angle. I'll try that angle.
Was it possible your fingers got in the way, or you retarded the
I'll have to look at the video and see, but
Okay.
I don't think so. I wasn't fully committed to the port, so I don't think the charging handle hit it. But so video analysis on that, and also try to replicate it again by shooting from that similar position. Another note, we haven't gone through the window, in my recollection, since you added armor division. So
been a while.
I was trying to figure out how to get through that with all my stuff on.
Yeah.
On the clock, and
Yeah.
I did it, but it was not as efficient as pre-armor division at this match for me.
It was not elegant,
No.
but you did make it through.
Right.
So anyways, guys, that's the kind of thing that's really interesting. He learned some lessons about his gear, and that's an important thing to learn on the clock. If you want to learn about historical kit, like these VZ52 magazine pouches, you don't do it on the range, on a square range. You do it on the clock under some sort of pressure, because that's the only time fumbling with something where you're like, I'm in a hurry. That kind of thing happens on the clock. So, very interesting result.
One more note is muzzle brakes at 2 GACM.
Oh, yeah.
Not the best. Firing sideways from that last position. Got a big dust cloud kicked up, a lot of sand and dirt in my mouth. And while this is a very effective muzzle brake for reducing muzzle climb, its utility is limited in a practical match environment. I don't think we're going to run into that at Red October very much, given the emphasis of that match.
Probably not. Although, last year they did have a very low port that was so low that I couldn't get my crazy Spetsnaz rifle to even fit. So it could happen. But that's a good point. Some of the gear and kit that people use on modern guns, such as that muzzle brake, which really does make a big difference in felt recoil, may not be practical oriented. Shooting that in a room with other people would be incredibly disruptive to their ability to keep situational awareness. But dust signature is something we see recurring here at Two Gun.
Right. And like you said, it may occur at Red October, but it's much more likely to happen at your venue than at other match venues that are more focused on more of a competition-oriented mindset.
Totally. You know, people say this stuff and they're like, well, if it has a timer, it's a competition, it's a game. But someone made a quote once, I saw it on the internet, which is, what is a gunfight if it isn't a shooting competition with a timer? That's really true. The timer is the difference about when your head gets sucked in and everything turns black. But anyways, that's a whole other conversation. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed this three-part rifle series about us prepping for Red October, and you're going to see Red October, of course, on the channel as well. If you haven't signed up for Red October, you should have considered it. It's a really cool match coming up at the beginning of October. If you like this stuff, please consider supporting us on Patreon. This is a completely crowdsourced, crowd-funded project. We get no monetization from anywhere else, no monetization from any sort of advertising dollars. It is completely you, the viewer, that keeps InRange alive. If you can't do that, please consider just subscribing to us on one of our multiple distribution networks. We're on multiple. You can find them on InRange.tv. And of course, share with your friends. Thanks for watching.